everybody. Welcome to those who are new of you here, and welcome to those of you who have been here several times or many times. It's really so beautiful to have this Sangha and like just to see your names appearing as you drop in here. And some of you have been connected me for one-to-ones, and so some are more familiar to me than others. My name is Nirmala Katrin Werner, and I'm speaking from Germany. I'm living here with my partner and our 3 children in an eco-village in the north of Germany. And I have a passion for meditation, for the Dharma, for embodiment, for mindful movement, silence. And I share this passion since, I think it's more than 20 years now. And this week I like to share about the topic of our longing for belonging. And just a few things before I dive into the topic of today, which is connecting to our indigenous wisdom. Mostly, I think, probably you might be all familiar with that, but if you want to raise a question, you can write that in the chat, and it would be really helpful if you type in the word question in capital letters so I can see it. If you want to come on screen, which is a nice opportunity to share and to inquire, you can raise a hand. There is this hand button at the bottom of the screen, and you just click on there and I see if I can invite you. And yeah, just settle in, see what you need to arrive here. George, you're here as well, that's very nice. I see I've forgotten to copy the donation links, so I mentioned Dana now, and maybe George, you can copy in this link for me. Otherwise I might lose this platform here on my computer. So this is a platform which is running entirely on donations, which I think is amazing, because I sometimes have the impression that Dana is in danger, that we lose the tradition of Dana and the value of it. So you are very much invited to share financially whatever you can, like really. Thank you, George, for putting the link there. Any amount of money is so helpful to keep this platform running. And it's also supporting myself and my family. Thank you so much. So I was I could talk a month about this, like really one of my most favorite topics, the topic of belonging, and to look into the trance of how we separate ourselves from us and from others. I was looking in these 2 things in the last 2 days. Yesterday talking about identities, and there came some questions up, and I'm happy to see if there's time at the end to come back to those questions, which I wasn't able to answer them all. There was one question, how it was to live 1 year in silence in Nilambe Meditation Center in Sri Lanka. That's an easy one for me. And I like to share, because yesterday there was a question and I didn't understand the English in it. And I was very appreciating when people were going more into this question and describing. But like, how easily can we have the sense of not belonging if we don't fit in? And what means fitting in the society? Doesn't it mean like being a white cisgendered man speaking English language that is like has kind of the most priority of value in the society. I mean, of course it's not true, and still society behaves as if it is true. So not speaking English so properly can like easily lead to, oh, I'm not good enough, I should be like this, and it's better to be like that. And that's like just a simple example where our separation comes from. So I love being able to be here and share my not so perfect English with you. Yeah. And living 1 year in silence is just where I got this practice from, and it was actually very noisy there, of birds and monkeys, and I love that, and that's where I developed this practice of belonging to nature. Like the nature was a big teacher there for me. Yeah. For some people it might be more easy than for others to tune towards silence. Some people need more groups and activities in society, and I think I belong to the second group. I don't need so much. I can happily be on my own as well. So, indigenous wisdom or mythical wisdom, I like to talk about that today, since we come so much from the mind, which is great. I mean, I love reading, and I love to understand things, and I love all the lists we have in Buddhism. And I see that I'm not becoming a more compassionate, loving person if I know all these lists, or if I really understand the roots of my suffering just from the terms of understanding it from my mind. So there is another way we can dive into wisdom, and yeah, that's coming from a space of not knowing. So the Buddha's teachings, they go very well together with the teachings of the theory of relativity and of quantum theory, which is, I think, amazing, like that science come to the same conclusions as the Buddha did, just from a really different angle here. And so the question is like, what is this? All this? How are we here? Like, what am I made of? And so we're coming from the world of things, but when I examine the activity of the processes of like seeing, hearing, feeling, then we understand there is no thing there. We start sentences with an I am doing this, I'm giving this talk, and we put less attention on the process there, what's really happening. And if you come to the process, we see what's happening is that there is no fixed identity. We just make that up. We cling to identities. The Buddha said about dependent origination, like a simple way to describe this is like, when this arises, that arises. When this isn't, that isn't. From the cessation of this comes the cessation of that. This is a basic expression of how conditions work. But what's really going on here? And like, if we break it down to the smallest parts, what's really happening? We get so hooked by our stories on how things should be and how things are, like we really cling to our views. But how do we really know we belong? If we follow quantum theory and bring it down to the smallest particles in ourselves, then everything seems to be the same. There is no separation. But how can it be that we have forgotten where we come from? Like, we come from earth. And even if we, like I grew up in a very Christian context, and I believed in my childhood that I was made from clay, but even clay is consisting out of earth, sun, water, air. You need all this. If we understand that we are this planet, that we are the trees, the rain, the sun, that it's all in our body is part of that, then we embody ourselves in a different way, and we relate to things in a different way, as if everything is just the same. And our body, and that's where we understand it mostly, and that's where also if we look in like being there for each other and caring for each other, when it comes to death, it seems to be more obvious that we are all in this together, because it's so obvious that we will be all earth one day. There's a tribe in Africa, and maybe it's more common in Africa, I don't know, I just know from this tribe, where the day of birth starts on the day where the mother first thought about the child. I mean, how would that be to grow up in a culture where your birth starts from the day where your mother first thought about you? I mean, do you feel the shift that can give? Just sense into that, being part of such a culture, and just sense into the culture we are coming from, a culture who walked barefoot, who lived under the stars, who slept on earth, on rocks, in caves, like so in tune with nature, with the light, like getting up in the morning when the sun rises, going down to sleep when the sun goes down. In some cultures, it's common to hang the placentas of the babies on trees. How would it be to like have placentas hanging on the trees around you? Like, wouldn't that remind us of something? Like, wouldn't it just like bring something different to our way of living, rather than just the doing and the achieving of things? And we come from this culture. We have forgotten our own wilderness. We have forgotten that we are animals. So what are ways to connect in another way of knowing? We all have spiritual DNA and indigenous wisdom in us. It's an intuitive wisdom, and we have lost that in our society. So I really invite to opening up to the mystery. Neuroscience can explain a lot, but it can't explain the mystery. In all the years of patriarch and colonialism, I think it's English words, we forgot about the art of female wisdom. What else can come through if we don't do? And one person who really embodies this is Amma in India. Like, instead of doing, she's just being. She's just being. That's what she radiates. And you see, like, she's very famous and attracting a lot of people, hugging so many people, just being. And that's why I love laying down meditation, and I think it's time for do this more in our society, to really go more into the not doing, to invite it with our body. We are so busy of managing our life that we cover over the big mystery. And I like to read you some lines of Albert Einstein. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. One to whom the emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and can stand wrapped in all, is as good as dead. But we mistrust not knowing. Some things we can't even explain. So rather than touching into the mystery and surrendering to that and see, like, where is mystery for me in my life? What is opening me up to another form of wisdom? We are so busy managing our lives here in our practice we have the opportunity to rest, and we have the space for non-doing and to open up to something new. So I like to, before we go into the practice of today, I like you to close your eyes, and of course all this is practice, like really embody yourself while sitting here and being open to listening. I'm coming with some scientific facts, and I got them from the NASA science page of the internet and from another scientist called Neil deGrasse. So just listen. In the beginning, nearly 14 billion years ago, all the space and all the matter and all the energy of the known universe was contained in a volume less than 1 trillionth the size of the period that ends the sentence. Every single one of the atoms in your body is traceable to this tiny, tiny little pinpoints. All the cells that comprise you are made of atoms. If the atom were the size of a baseball stadium, then the nucleus would be smaller than a baseball, perhaps closer to the size of a ping pong ball. Most of atom is, in fact, empty space. So if all the nuclei in your body are placed side by side, the area they would occupy is merely a speck of dust. The rest is empty space. Roughly 95% of the universe is made up of the mysterious forces of dark energy and dark matter, and we don't know what that is. The rest, everything on earth, everything ever observed, is with all instruments, all our calculation adds up to 5%. 95% of the universe is mystery. So how does that feel? Do you get it? Like, I love, there's one English astronomer and physics and mathematics, like he died in 1944, I think, like he was born 1882, and he did great works on astrophysics and investigating motion, internal structure, the evolution of stars, and like how he describes how the universe works is, and listen to that, like a really famous man, yeah, Englishman. Something unknown is doing, we do not know what. Something unknown is doing, we do not know what. There is so much we don't know. It's about 100 years ago that Albert Einstein told us that time and space, distances and duration are relative. They're dependent on the observer and the location in the universe. He said time is relative and the concepts of past, present and future are illusions. There's so much we don't know. What practice supports your freedom? How can we open up to the mystery and include it more in our life? So I like to now invite you into the meditation, and we do, my invitation is to do it a little bit different than usual, but you will have enough time to sit or to lay down, whatever, but just really come, like, I like you to stand up if that's possible for you. Otherwise, I'm sure you can find your way into practice while just sitting or laying or whatever. And while standing up, just, and we're not standing all the time, it's just a short beginning. And if you don't like it, just keep it away, really. Just take whatever is valuable for you. So standing up just at the beginning, before we really go into the practice, I like you to move your hips a bit and to feel into your legs and feet. And this is where a lot of, like, where indigenous people, they're very connected, they're very embodied in their belly, in their pelvis, because this is the field of embodiment down here. So if you come from this space, And you might recognize that it's even not so easy to be fluid in the hips, to be fluid in the legs, to be fluid in the feet. And now I just like you to experiment with like being stiff in the hips, and that's what we have in the Western culture a lot. And being stiff in your chest, because this is where we freeze. And just feel like, close your eyes a moment, just feel like what's coming up, like emotions or feelings, thoughts, assumptions, while being, and walk a bit with it. Walk a bit while being stiff in your chest. Yeah, just maybe you have seen people around you who walk like this, and you can exaggerate. And then I like you to be stiff in the back. And make yourself round. Maybe you have also seen people walking like that in the supermarket. I have, definitely. And now we're diving into the practice. While standing still, closing your eyes, releasing tension from the top of the head like a waterfall, brushing down through the head, through the neck, through the heart and lungs area, through the cave of the pelvis, down to the floor. And the invitation is to move your pelvis and to keep your eyes closed if you can. And if you can, walk a bit through the space where you are. And you can imagine that you just had like a drum festival last night somewhere at the Congo in Africa. And the beat is still in your hips, it's still in your legs, it's still in your feet. And you're walking upright with all the many years of evolution in your cells. And you're part of that. You're part of the Congo, you're part of the soil, you're part of the drums, you're part of the trees. And just really, if you can, walk through your space and really be like so loose in your hips and your legs and your feet, and root your feet into the ground. Going down, exhale, maybe a bit more longer, maybe with an open mouth for a few times. Sighing, so embodying your pelvis, your legs, your feet. And then you can place your hands on your thighs and lower down your upper body a bit, while still moving your pelvis, and you can feel the connection of the tailbone with the earth, as if you're squelling the earth with your tailbone. And breathing. And now the invitation is to go on all fours if you can. And otherwise you just imagine going on all fours and just inviting animal movements here. Moving the spine, moving the cells around the spine, moving your shoulders. And you can, like if you're sitting, you can still invite this energy of animal movements, maybe moving your fingers, moving your mouth, moving your cheeks, making funny faces, like embodying where we come from. Really keep doing this for 1 or 2 minutes, being on all fours and just allowing this energy of evolution through your cells, through your membranes in your body, moving the space in your pelvis, moving the space around the spine. And you can do it just while sitting if you don't want to join into this practice. Making maybe sounds, inviting your voice. Moving your mouth. Just being with the body and in the body. Feeling the contact to earth now with your hands on the body, your legs on the body. still movement, maybe it's micro movements, maybe it's really strong external movement, all welcome. And as you're feeling the ground, feeling the pull down towards gravity, and the invitation is to slowly and really, like from an embodied space, like moving your spine, moving your breath through space, and feeling the connection between spine, between breath, between earth, while moving down to earth and settling in on earth. Maybe you don't want to lay, what the invitation is to do, just for now. Fine, as you are sitting, being so in touch with earth, and still moving your body a bit, like allowing the movement to become a bit more soft and subtle maybe. Maybe it's still strong, and one invitation is to move your head on the ground. Maybe the forehead, the sides of your head. Maybe the back of your head. And if you don't touch your head on the ground, what about taking your head in your hands and really move it in your hands and with your hands? Moving your head into the ground and pushing your body a bit in the ground, pushing your arms in the ground, your legs, your pelvis, your feet. And also this you could do while sitting, like this micro movements here, maybe they are more big, the movements. And breathing really embodies space in the body, space around the body. Breathing freely, openly. Being so in touch with earth now. So in touch with earth. Pushing into earth. Pulling away from earth. And really go into this movement. It's an invitation to go into like a kind of push and pull. And you could even do that while sitting, having your hands on your legs. Maybe feel like the tissue is receiving, like the tissue is pushing away. Just feeling the movement with your body. Breathing, so embodying yourself, so connected to earth, to gravity, to space. Moving your vertebrae through space. Moving your breath through space. And if you find something juicy there, you could just keep doing that and enjoy. And otherwise, you could just find a way into resting, into being, into silence. Allowing gravity to move through. Sinking more, allowing the whole skin on your body to release tension, to sink, to melt. And the space of the shoulders drop down more into the space of the earth. You drop down the space between the heart and the lungs. down into the space of the earth, into the space behind the earth. Can you sense into the space between the diaphragm and the pelvic floor? And embody the space of the pelvic cave. The space of the sexual organs. Inhabiting the space in your thighs, in your knees. How does it feel to maybe open your joints? Open your joints. Embodying the space of your feet. And the space around your body. Feeling the whole body, space, breathing, and the space around your body. And the space around your flat, your house. Expanding, opening up to mystery, opening up to not knowing. Widening, expanding beyond earth. Beyond and beyond and beyond. And if you need like an anchor to ground, you could connect to a place in your body which feels like home, which feels okay, and rest there, cuddle in there with your awareness. Would just be your practice to come back again and again to this space in your body which feels like home, which feels okay. Could be your practice to expand beyond and beyond, and let go of expanding, let go of everything. Don't try to meditate, just be. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to achieve, just be. Maybe having support through your breath, through the earth, feeling this huge globe below your body. In the universe. And if you like, tuning in into the space of your heart. And the space around your heart. Feeling the texture there, the temperature. The sensations. And imagining widening and open the heart space to the people around you, where the heart is warming your body, being in you, there for you, so gentle and kind and friendly with you. It's expanding out to the people around you and to their friends and families. To their people. And allowing the heart to expand even wider to the friends and families and connections, relatives of those people. Allowing the heart to spread out into your culture, into your nation, into earth, into all the not knowing, into all the pain and the suffering and the joy. And the rivers and the trees and the animals and the sky, the stars, where we all come from, stardust, stardust in our cells. Dwelling in heart energy. And while being in this heart energy, listening to a poem of Mary Oliver called "What is There Beyond Knowing?" What is there beyond knowing that keeps calling to me? I can't turn in any direction, but it's there. I don't mean the leaves' grip and shine, or even the thrush's silk song, but the far-off fires, for example, of the stars, heaven slowly turning, theater of light, or the wind, playful with its breath, or time that's always rushing forward or standing still. In the same, what shall I say, moment, what I know I could put into a pack, as if it were bread and cheese, and carry it on one shoulder. Important and honorable, but so small. While everything else continues unexplained and unexplainable. How wonderful it is to follow a thought quietly to its logical end. I have done this a few times, but mostly I just stand in the dark field in the middle of the world, breathing in and out. Life so far doesn't have any other name but breath and light, wind and rain. If there is a temple, I haven't found it yet. I simply go on drifting in the heaven of the grass and the weeds. Thank you so much for this meditation together. Take your time to slowly change the form of meditation more into a listening meditation. And I wonder if there are any questions, and one I see so far. And I'm just going with that. From Kevin, thank you for your question, Kevin. How do we have a sense of belonging in a society in which, by embracing the Dharma, we are actively going against? How do we have a sense of belonging in a society in which, by embracing the Dharma, we are actively going against? My first response, and not the only one, we are not going against. We are going with. All people share the need for belonging. All people have a yearning, some deeper inner call, and some rarely ever hear it in their life. But it's there, maybe in watching a bird or a rainbow. Who doesn't stop a tiny micro moment or has a little shift in their hearts watching a rainbow? Or being shaken by thunder and lightning. And I really feel with you, and it's a great question, because it's in a way, it's the same questions which came up yesterday, which was more of how do I address or respond wisely to, how it was called, identity politics, like where people come together in a group, just black people, for example, and don't leave anybody in. So it's about how do I belong? How can I belong? How can I belong also to that? How can I carry the suffering which is in it? And you know, the way is addressing it in yourself. It's really the way. When it's out there, it is still part in ourselves. Only by addressing it in our own body, like what is our reaction to that, what thoughts are coming up, what assumption, what memories, feeling the grief, feeling the anger, embody it, like really go there without pushing it away. Because what happens there is against the stream is missing from the end of my question. Ah, sorry, haven't actively going against the stream. Ah, thank you, Kevin. Because what happens there by going against the stream, probably is some judgments involved, right? I mean, and it's so important to be really open with that. And I do have that as well. I mean, it's really hard for me not to become judgmental if the 10-year-old friends of my son are all entering their house, and we're living in this community, so lots of kids come in. I'm really happy I can protect the space. I have to close the house door actually to hold these teachings, and still even now I don't know if you hear the people knocking and yelling into the house, just full on when they enter the house with their mobile phones. And I think like, oh dear, you're 8 and 9 and 10, like, and something comes up. Wouldn't be so much easier if we all like would give mobile phones to our children if they're more older, for example. There's something in myself to resolve. I'm so interconnected with everything around me that when I'm caring for myself, when I'm dwelling in love, when I'm with compassion, when I'm with patience, it does have an influence. And belonging does mean to belong to the things we don't want to belong to. Also to that, also to the mainstream of society, if that is what you mean by your question. Also of belonging to violence and oppression and comparison and all this advertisement stuff. You see my reaction to that. Like, and we do have things we really feel like, oh, I really wish it would be different. And it's not like we just have to do the practice on our cushion. I like to read you a few lines. Where do I have them? Here. From Joanna Macy. Active hope is not wishful thinking. Active hope is not waiting to be rescued by the Lone Ranger or by some savior. Active hope is waking up to the beauty of life on those behalf we can act. We belong to this world. The web of life is calling us forth at this time. We have come a long way and are here to play our part. With active hope, we realize that there are adventures in store, strength to discover, and comrades to link arms with. Yeah. So it doesn't mean it has to be all on the cushion, and it doesn't mean you can't raise your voice. And it means to connect to the beauty, which even you might have a fixed opinion about something or someone. If you go closer, if you tune closer, if you understand the shoes they have walked in all their life, if you understand what I said yesterday, or imagine to be this person since the birth of conception, since the day of conception, how would that feel? Yeah. So are there any other questions here? And thank you for all your comments in the chat and the appreciation. It's quite something to sit in front of a screen and don't see anybody, don't see any faces. And yet, there you are, we're all connected. And connected to the pain, and yeah, really allowing pain to be there. Like the Buddha said, I'm teaching one thing and one thing only, and that's suffering and the end of suffering. And you might think, oh, whoa, wait a moment, it's two things. But actually it's one thing, because when we attend to pain, this is the ending of suffering. Bringing there our curiosity, our awareness. Yes. And also understanding, it's a practice also of understanding like yesterday, like some words came up about teenagers also like really getting lost in what they are interested in, like the computer stuff, mobile phones and all this, the internet world, and understanding, wow, how difficult must it be to be on this earth as a teenager. I remember walking from Istanbul to Konya with my then 14 years old daughter, and she was really like not knowing after 400 kilometers, which was about half the way, how to go back into her life where people in the age of 14 are starting to drink alcohol and smoking cigarettes, and she knowing that she doesn't want to do this, but there is such a strong need in children to belong. I remember a friend who was in a huge storehouse, something like IKEA or something, with her then 7-year-old daughter, 7 or 8 years, and she lost her daughter. So she went to the information desk and they called out via the microphone the name of the daughter. And she found back her daughter. She got her daughter back, crying. The daughter was crying because she was so upset that her mom dared to mention her name, to call out her name in the storehouse. So she wasn't afraid of losing her mom. She was concerned about that any friends of her could have been there in the warehouse and could have heard her name there. And even though my 10-year-old son, he's like so busy with climbing and playing, and today is the first snow outside and he will be so active. And then if he gets bored and if he doesn't know what to do with himself and if he gets sad and unsatisfied, he's yelling, he wants to have a mobile phone because everybody has it. And it's our way of distracting. And that's also like, how can our society can be different when we not ourselves look into the ways where we numb us because we don't have we don't inhabit belonging. Yeah. So far, I thank you so much for being here and all your comments and just your practice, which is like the biggest dana on earth, to be together in the Dharma and sharing. Thank you so much, and I hope to have you all here tomorrow. Bye bye.